Good morning, this is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 1071 WTJN. Our Saturday morning programming is sponsored by Outlook Financial, and time for the Mayor's Report. And of course, with me is Mayor Mike Beamish.
The mayor is in the studio.
Hey, been a little warm out there this past week.
Boy, it has, and we just had some really interesting weather. But it's been awful hot and humid.
And we finally got a little bit of rain in, too.
We did, and let me do a shout out, if I may. This past weekend, the Troy Civic Band, and I've talked about that, and I've certainly encouraged anybody who listens to this radio station to come out and see quality of our local professionals that come together. But this past Sunday, if you remember, we did have some rain that came in right before, just within an hour of this concert that was going to be taking place at the amphitheater at Treasure Island. And so my wife and I thought, okay, rain place. We went out and found out no cars there at Troy Christian School, sometimes the rain date site. And then we went out to the Treasure Island Park, and cars are out there. And what was so neat is we had a combination. The weather held off. It was still pretty humid outside and sticky, but people came, and the Greene County Band and their conductor merged with our Troy Civic Band, and you talk about the quality of sound.
I bet that was real nice.
Oh, they came together. Each one had their own individual mini concert, and then they combined to do a few numbers. And I just tell you, the people that did come out really enjoyed that, and you just didn't know the humidity was there because you're enjoying the ambiance of the area, the ambiance of the sound that came. The acoustics was wonderful. And in fact, the band director, I gotta say, the Greene County band director made mention of they travel and they see a lot different sites, and he was so impressed with the Treasure Island Park, the scenery, the look, and the quality of sound that the terrace and the amphitheater can produce with the quality band. So we had a great time. I certainly continue to wish people, if they hear of the next concert, and I think it's going to be in August, to come out, sit back, bring your chair. If you don't have a chair, there's terrace, and you can sit. There are places to sit there, but to enjoy the quality. The McIntoshes do a wonderful job of directing.
Oh, for sure.
But what I really enjoy seeing is all the folks that you see on the street walking around that are in the band, and they have they really perform at a high level.
Well, you said the band director from Greene County
Yes.
made comment on how nice the park is. I would say that the only person who doesn't have something nice to say about Treasure Island Park has never been to Treasure Island Park to try out the amenities.
Well, you know, it's been something, there's no secret, recreation's always important to me, but culture has been too, and you take both of those and put that down in Treasure Island Park.
In the same place, they come together.
Along the Great Miami River, which is a treasure of our whole region, and the downtown look, looking at the courthouse. I mean, it is a beautiful view. The restaurant is just a wonderful restaurant. We do have all the amenities for people of all ages to do something, whether it's recreation or whether it's culture or whether it's just dining. It's right there. I know, a lot of people wondered about that, but we designed it to realize it was next to a river. But it has been useful to a lot of people, and I just encourage people, if they haven't, I like what you just said, Clint, if you haven't been there, to find an event that fits your level of enjoyment and come out. But
go down and take advantage of it. If maybe you want to get out and canoe.
Yep.
Adventures on the Great Miami,
Yep.
right at Treasure Island. You want a wonderful dinner with a beautiful vista, you can eat at the boathouse. Or if you want maybe a sandwich you made at home and a beautiful vista. You could go eat at, one of the shelters.
And we do have restrooms available.
Yeah, and one of the things I noticed when that started being built, everything down there at Treasure Island, when the reconstruction was being done, I went up on top of the levee and I watched many times, and I took note of the fact that the bathroom is raised. It kind of went up on a little bit of a hill, so it never will flood. Same thing with all the utilities and electric and outlets and such that are down there. Everything is above water, and everything that would be below water is made out of concrete. So it can't float away, can't wash away.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for those comments, Clint, and that's very similar to what the band director from Greene County Band was sharing with us. So, I just encourage people to take advantage of all of our park system. Troy's very blessed. All of our parks have a different feature and different amenities that people can take and avail to. I like the idea that for all ages and for families.
Yes, for sure. And I like what you're working towards with Duke Park.
Thank you.
I think that will be a great addition to Troy. We've talked about this in the past. We talked about it when the initiative came up before to put the ball fields and soccer fields out there. We know what the Strawberry Festival does when they have the soccer tournament, and we fill up soccer fields in other towns because we need more.
Absolutely. We do have to look at all those events that we have here, and Duke Park is a key park to us. It's one of the ones that has the most diversity of activity. And so if we're going to focus on moving forward with recreation and activities, I know many of the seniors, we talk about seniors, but the seniors enjoy the pickleball courts that we have out at Duke Park. So we do, and truly, and it's something that I've always tried to aspire to, is having things so that people of all ages can go and enjoy. And it can be recreation, it can be culture. But hey, anyway, it was a good weekend, and I didn't know if we were going to have it because of the weather, but we did, and those who came out, I am sure would say they enjoyed that concert.
Well, Mother Nature was shining on us once again in Troy.
It did.
Now, you did have Counsel on Monday night.
We did have Counsel on July 15th, and gosh, it seems like that's our second Monday of the month, so we'll be in August before we have another council meeting. But we did have a number of issues that we did discuss. We had 8 members of council of the 9 that were present to make a decision. We did have a public hearing. The public hearing was for the area, gosh, the best I can say is where Troy Christian High School complex is located.
Okay.
But we were looking at the possible Arbogast Performing Arts Center that's going to be on that location. I will say APAC, that's what they call it, Arbogast Performing Arts Center, is leasing the area that's owned by Troy Christian School. So we were looking at that and moving forward with that project. And again, there's a cultural amenity for the future of Troy, 1,200 seat auditorium, air conditioned, has all the amenities that can bring some good shows and talent to the continue to the Troy and Miami County area. But we have to look at rezoning for a planned development there, which they had a public hearing, and many there were 2 individuals that had questions, and that's good. But we were also very fortunate to have Jessica Eccles. Many of her know from the Partners in Hope days.
Yes.
But she is now the executive director of the APAC, and she was there to answer their questions. Most of the questions were concerning parking, and where that was going to be located. And so she did a great job of answering those questions and concerns. So we had that public hearing. That'll move to a 3rd reading of council. So down the road, they will be looking at rezoning to a planned development for that area. But it moved to a 3rd reading, so it'll be on the agenda for the August council. We also had some basic things like authorizing a sanitary sewer refining project budgeted not to exceed $100,000. That's always the infrastructure needs, and we got to keep thinking about that. And
when
passed.
it's our sewer, yeah, we got to keep that moving.
I think so, and it did pass unanimously. We also had put in for a grant application with the Ohio Public Works Commission, and that will help us offset some of our costs with the Riverside Drive Improvement Project. That's phase 4 of that project, and that won't happen right away. It'll be down, but you have to put the grant in, and so they wanted to move forward 8-0 with that. The biggest discussion that probably we had was, as we talked about Duke Park and looking at the extension of Duke Park in terms of amenities. And to do that, it's a two-step process. First of all, you need to have a resolution of necessity declaring intention to have a levy. And so that's the first step. And then the second step is to actually certify that the levy will be on the ballot in November. So it's a two-step process. They took the first step, and Counsel, it was emergency because of the deadlines that are associated with that. And so the first step was passed last night. There has been previous discussion. It was recommended by not only the Park Board, the Recreation Board, but the subcommittee, Parks and Recreation Committee of Council, and they passed that. I mentioned about the public hearing. We'll move on to a third reading. They associated with the APAC is there's a little section, they call it the bulb, but it's a section on the same side as Troy Christian Complex, and they needed to vacate that portion to allow for in and out traffic for the future, and that's associated with the Arbogast Performing Arts Center development, and that passed as well. And then the final thing was the final plat of Fox Harbor, Subdivision 6, pretty standard to move forward with that project, and that passed also. So that was the basic gist of the agenda of Council. Went very smoothly. Mrs. Baker, President Baker, does a nice job keeping everything moving forward. And Council always has opportunities for people to discuss, and amongst themselves to discuss, but all those items move forward.
All right. And as always, everyone is welcome to attend Council.
Absolutely.
Open to the public.
That's right.
And you can also watch it streaming online. Go to troyohio.gov, and there's a little item you can click on, and it takes you right into the chamber.
Absolutely. So we have lots of opportunities for communicating what we're doing.
All right. Thinking of what we're doing, we got some items that are coming up. It's going to be a busy rest of the summer.
You know, it seems like in Troy, we always have something to keep ourselves occupied.
Absolutely.
Even though the heat and humidity has kept a lot of us inside, we do have activities that are taking place outside. And let me just go through a couple of them, because one of them is coming up quickly, and that's the Cincinnati Symphony. We closed down the downtown area. Cincinnati Symphony comes up, they set up, they will have their concert this Monday, July 22nd.
Talk about acoustics here in the downtown with the symphony. I love that.
And so that'll be a wonderful opportunity for people of all ages to come down, relax, and enjoy a Cincinnati Symphony that is renowned for their talent. And they'll be there. Now, I want to mention that concert is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock. Many of our concerts start at 7:30, so 8 o'clock is the target time to start. Let's not think rain. Let's think we're going to have downtown, a nice, beautiful concert.
Under the dome.
So let's just hope it's still going to be pretty warm. But I hope people will come out. Also, I do want to mention that this Sunday, on July the 21st, at the area of the Troy Aquatic Park, is the Kids Triathlon.
This has been going on for quite a few years.
That's right. And I always get a chance to have a few words and to be the official starter of the event. But I'll tell you, it has grown. It's really neat. It's for youngsters. You can be 5 years old up to 14 years old. And it's basically a swim, a bike, a run, and even just to watch. Now it's going to be pretty warm, but
it'll be a workout.
It'll be starting early in the morning. I believe 7 o'clock in the morning. And it'll run through the morning hours, which will be the cooler part of the day. So hopefully you can sign up. I'd call the Hobart Arena or the Troy Aquatic Park, and Cheryl Cheney does a wonderful job of heading that event up, and continues to grow. So that'll take place on this Sunday. And if that's not enough, I do want to put a couple plugs for events that are coming up in August, and even one in September. In August, we have our National Night Out Day. It's Tuesday, August the 6th. And it's a little different concept than some of us remember in the past years. Now we're forming more neighborhood block party type events. But we do have our SROs, our school resource officers.
And they go around.
Yeah, Jeff Wade kind of heads that up. He's one of our junior high school resource officers. But they all get around, and I would suggest that you get a hold of the Troy Police Department, say you want to organize, and they'll help you organize a neighborhood. And it's all about safety. It's all about helping each other out as a community. So that's going to take place the first part of August the 6th, so you can start to plan that. In September, we've had, it'll be the 3rd annual Troy Memorial Freedom Climb, and that is to certainly honor our first responders and participate in that event, and that'll take place on a Sunday. I believe it starts around 2 o'clock, but that's for your calendar in September, and that'll be September the 8th. So we have a lot of things going on, all of which are very good things to go.
And at the end of this month, our final Friday, Main Street has
right.
the nonprofit game night downtown.
Absolutely. I believe that's on, the 26th of July? So that's coming up, and another opportunity to come downtown, see the beauty of the downtown, also take time to look at the sculptures.
Yep.
Because they're all around, the Seward Johnson sculptures. So it's just a fun time to be in Troy, Ohio, USA, and in Miami County. I want to also give shout out to all the communities that are doing some super things to try to just showcase what Miami County is all about.
Well, all the communities, I think, are doing the same thing like we're doing here in Troy, and it's adding activities and things that folks that live in town can do right there. But living in Miami County, it's kind of neat because I know everybody kind of hops from town to check out the different events.
Gives us choice.
It certainly does.
That, this past Sunday, I didn't say, but Carl Phillips, many of them know Rum River Blend. Everybody knows Rum. Well, Carl Phillips is 97 years young.
I saw him playing with them.
And still fiddles around with his fiddle. And I'll tell you, it was great. They in Tip City, the Tip Roller Mill had a special day for him on Sunday and honor his birthday. And he was there, and he was playing, and it was a wonderful opportunity too. So give a shout out to Carl Phillips for his contribution to the music that Rum River Blend provides.
All right. So always something happening in Troy and Miami County, most definitely.
Thank you.
Mayor, is there anything else you'd like to add in this morning?
We've covered the bases.
I think we did.
Thanks, Clint, for all that you do to support all the activities around Troy and Miami County.
Absolutely. That does it for the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJM.